Boomer Sooner.
Ball's out, rolling around on the turf. Sooners recover. Looks right, wants to throw, does. It's intercepted. Intercepted. He's under pressure. He lobs in zone. Touchdown.
This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Also brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Walden Cleaners. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner. Here are your hosts, Chris Plank and Gabe Ikard.
Welcome inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind, along with Gabe Ikard. I'm Chris Plank, and we are pumped to be joined by the Sooner running backs coach, DeMarco Murray, as we get set for a big one on Saturday night. Congrats on the 3-0 start, Coach. How you feeling about that room?
Feel great. Feel great. Obviously, 3-0 is what it's all about, and obviously trying to get the 4-0 this weekend. But we'll have our hands full. But again, we're excited about the start so far.
You know, we've moved the taping of this show to Thursdays, where it was on Monday. So Monday, the previous game was a little bit fresher. Now the upcoming opponent is a little bit fresher, so it's going way back. But overall, how'd you feel about the way that run game came together against Tulane?
I thought it was solid. You know, obviously still some work in progress to do on, on our end. And again, we feel good where we kind of started, from the first, second to third. And again, just continue to make, obviously progression from everyone on the offensive side. But, we got three guys that we're excited about. But for me, it always starts with us, So, again, no matter what's in front of us, we got to go get the job done. And, we feel like we can get that accomplished this weekend.
Looking at Javante Barnes going all the way back to last year, just never got back to 100%, and we just didn't see the version of him we thought we'd see. This entire offseason has looked great, has been healthy. What's it been like for you to watch him kind of get back into form the way that he has?
It's been a sigh of relief for me, quite honestly. But again, having Javante out there, just his energy, just the person that he is, his work ethic is second to none. I mean, every single day, everything that I've always said about him since I've met him is his appreciation for just being here, being a part of the team, his work ethic, his grind, his mentality is unbelievable, as is the other guys. But, Barnes being out there brings some juice, brings some energy for us, and a little bit more vocal than some of the other guys. But, again, excited for him, and, hopefully we get him going this weekend.
It seems as if, too, he's complete. He's good when it comes to the blitz pickups, the blocking side of things. Where do you want to see him continue to grow as a back? Because I like talking to him. I want to see him do more post-game interviews because he's a fun kid. But where does Javante Barnes need to continue to improve?
I think just for him is a little bit more patience in the details. I think that's his two biggest things. But, for him, it seems like he just got here. But being a junior now, obviously consider him as a vet. And love Barnes, love everything about him. And just the little details. And, again, just trying to continue to, give him reps. A lot of people don't really, he's only played 1 year, so he's still young, even though he's only a junior. But he's only really played 1 year, and obviously we know what happened last year, just couldn't get healthy. But again, excited for him, and I think he has a great mindset and, heading into week 4.
There were a couple moments in the Tulane games for Javante where it's this close to being out.
Yeah.
How is that something you can work on, in open space, one-on-one, those situations, because he's had a couple of them and he just hasn't been able to quite get out of those and rip off the big runs that we know he's capable of.
Yeah, that's something that we preach about, winning your one-on-one matchups. Again, when you get the opportunity, you got to take full advantage over it. Again, you don't know when they're going to come. You don't know when they will arise. But, for us, and as a running back, you can't, there's a lot of drills I can create, but I cannot create a real-life one-on-one situation. So for us, I preach that in spring, preach it in training camp, preach it in practice every single day. Like when you have your one-on-one opportunities with linebackers and safeties, and I got to stay on the scout team guys to make sure they give them a good rep and like, hey, come full speed, thud these guys up so we can get that experience. So, again, there's a lot of simulations as far as footwork drills, blocking drills, and things of that nature, but you can't really set up a true one-on-one, partake in versus running back or a safety or whoever the case may be. So for us, man, it's practice, and again, he's a hard-working guy. And, for us, we want to hit those big runs. And again, we know it starts with us and it ends with us. So, again, he'll get those opportunities again, and I think he'll take advantage of them.
How have you seen him handle the balance? And I know right now it's football, right? But, I mean, he's a baseball player too. So how has that balance been for him, you think?
With Tatum?
Yeah.
He's been great. Yeah, he's been great. Obviously, young guy, full of energy, and again, love everything about him. He's a great kid, great personality with just a tremendous upside and again a tremendous gift of athletic ability. So again, brings a lot of great, personality to the room. But great kid, and he's about the right stuff. Works his tail off, and couldn't be more proud of him. And again, the sky's the limit for him.
We talked to him in the postgame, and he was awesome.
He was great.
Yeah.
Great personality, fun kid. Now, freshmen make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what freshmen do.
Yeah.
But he's so talented. He's so dynamic. He's just a guy. It feels like he's a guy you have to get on the field more. Like, how do you balance that as a coach, knowing that, he may make a mistake here and there, but he just is such a playmaker for you guys?
Yeah, and that's what kind of these first 3 games were, to kind of get the chinks out of the armor a little bit, so to speak. But again, at the end of the day, man, you want to put the best players out there on the field, and right, wrong, or indifferent, he's going to make the plays that he's capable of making. And again, I'm always thinking, hey, play the next play. Good, bad, or ugly. Great play, 100-yard touchdown. Miss a block, go play the next play. Again, we're going to count on you. We're going to come to you in the fourth quarter. And we can't have you thinking about that same play that in the first or second quarter that you may have messed up. So you got to live with some things, and no one's perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. And again, I think for him, he's extremely smart, extremely talented, and just again, being freshman at certain times. But again, my standard for him, sometimes I forget he's a freshman. He just got here 2 months ago, so I got to calm down a little bit. But extremely proud of where he's at, and again, he'll continue to grow and learn those things.
We saw him catch the touchdown coming out of the backfield. We've heard a lot about his ability to catch the football. Yeah. How big of a weapon can that be for this offense as he continues to earn more snaps during these games?
Oh, it's huge. For me, versatility is the biggest thing for a running back. Obviously, you want to be able to run and block and do all that stuff. But again, I like guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield, line them up at slot, line them up outside, and again, be a true threat, not a decoy. For him, he has great hands. It's natural for him. Great feet, great route. So again, you don't want to put too much on his plate, obviously, but again, there's certain things in certain games that if we feel like we can take advantage of that matchup, we will.
I kind of came in hot, just want to know how he's handling the balance for baseball and football, but I'm also having so much responsibility. We're seeing him a lot of snaps, a lot of carries as a true freshman. How have you seen him handle that physically and mentally?
Oh, great. Again, he comes from, great family. So again, he's been in this kind of role for a while, obviously coming out of high school, being the #1 guy. So he's used to it. And again, just trying to, for him, my biggest thing is like, hey, no matter what, man, just be yourself. Don't let it, don't let expectations of others, detour your mindset, So you've always had a great work ethic and mindset. So he's not a guy that I have to worry about getting too high or get too low on himself. Again, extremely competitive, and we're excited to have him.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch. It's DeMarco Murray. We got one more segment. We'll preview Tennessee, talk about little Gavin Sawchuk as well as we're inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Orthodontics Exclusively is a proud sponsor of the Junior Captain of the Game. Junior Captain is the ultimate fan experience for children 6 to 12. Bob Moore Ford is proud to honor service members through the Patriot of the Game. Chick-fil-A. Download the Chick-fil-A app and order your favorites ahead of time.
Welcome back inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. We got DeMarco Murray for another segment to talk about the Sooner running back room. First segment, we talked about Taylor Tatum. We talked a little bit about Javonte Barnes. Gavin Sawchuk, probably not the start that he wants, but how has he kind of been persevering through things, Coach?
Yeah, he's great. Again, he's just a great leader, unbelievable person, and again, just a guy that, for us, again, vocal when he needs to be, and again, he's extremely smart. Again, he's going to be relied on throughout the course of the season, but again, had a slow start a year ago, but again, man, we have a tremendous amount of faith and confidence in Gavin, and again, just the opportunities. Again, I don't think anyone's, played up to par, quote unquote, in our room. Again, I got an extremely high standard for everyone, individually and collectively, including myself. But again, it starts with me. But again, Gavin's been a great teammate, great player, and again, we're going to count on him. And again, there's no confidence waiver whatsoever with him.
You've got 3 guys that have played the bulk of the snaps. How do you handle who gets how many snaps? Is that something that's earned during the week in practice? Do you just kind of feel it out during the game? Like, hey, this guy's got it rolling tonight. Like, what's that process like for you, DeMarco?
Well, again, as I've always been here the last 4 years, first kind of 2 or 3 games, you want to get everyone experience. You want to get guys fresh. You want to get guys healthy through those first 2 or 3 games. And again, guys work their tail off. So, you want to give guys different opportunities. But again, we know moving forward that can't be 3, 4 guys playing in the game. So, we'll see how things go this weekend. But again, the starter will get the bulk of it, and then obviously guys are personnel for certain plays that they do better than other guys. So we got to put the right guys in the right situations at different times. So feel great about where we are and moving forward.
Speaking of running, 11 looked pretty good. Kind of had a little bit of a running back feel to him. I think people forget he's a dual threat guy. What'd you make of Jackson as a runner last week?
Love Jackson. Great guy, great teammate. Again, we got to continue to rally around him and make plays around him. And again, it starts with him. But again, his feet. All right, obviously he has an arm, but
bad snap took away a running back touchdown right there.
Well, hey, it's all good.
Hate to see it.
Yeah, he was going to keep it anyway. So no, but Jackson did a great job, man. We love him, and again, just the dual threat. Obviously, in the run game, obviously zone read, things of that nature, allows that backside defender to stay put. But he's a true threat. Not just a guy that we're just going out there and making him a decoy.
How excited does that make the guys in your room? You mentioned how it affects the backside of the defense. Your running backs, they're so talented, they don't need much, right? They just need a little hesitation. How does his ability and what he's shown through these first 3 games, how does that help your guys at the running back spot?
Oh, it's just great. Obviously, we got a lot of playmakers, and again, we're not making any excuses for anything. We know we got to play better, and we will. Again, a lot of young guys are making plays out there, are playing together for the first time. But I think Jackson being able to run, obviously, is huge for us. And again, it's been a great threat for us. And again, for us, it's about winning games. That's what it's all about. And again, obviously, you want to get the stats and the points and all that stuff, which will come. But at the end of the day, as long as you win, that's what we want.
We've seen quite a bit of the 2 running back set through these first 3 games. I believe we saw it the most last week against Tulane. I have to imagine you really like that personnel grouping.
I love it. So again, I'm a big part of that, obviously. But again, just like I tell my guys, man, we feel great with the guys that we have in our room. Again, whether it's in the passing game, the run game, obviously the blocking game, that we feel that it's a true threat every time we get that duck personnel going. That we got some true athletes on the field that can take it the distance at any time. But we love it. I love it. It's going to continue to grow the package itself. But just as I tell my guys, every time we go in there with that 21 personnel, we got to go make it work, and we got to be the best personnel, quote unquote, to make Coach Luttrell feel good, and then make everyone else feel good around us as well.
Want that column on the play sheet to expand.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Hey, I wanted to go real quick, because in both your college and your pro career, you were with a younger quarterback. How has your playing experience helped you when, I don't think anyone's freaking out when there's mistakes made, but to better understand, hey, there's going to be growing pains when there's a young quarterback, to help settle everyone down if there is any concerns whenever there's problems?
Yeah, I think, there's no concerns within our room
Right.
or our side of the ball. Again, obviously for us as coaches, it starts with us. We got to continue to put these guys in the best situations as possible. But having a young team, young quarterback, you're going to have some highs and lows at certain times. But again, the best thing about our guys, they've worked extremely hard. They're extremely close and confident that we're going to make the plays when the time is right. But again, there's no more, obviously for us, we're just not worried about it. Again, Jackson's a great player. He'll catch fire, and again, we'll continue to obviously grow together as one and be together again. Got to get the run game started again. I think the biggest thing is letting the guys make plays for him to get him calmed down a little bit. But I don't think his confidence has wavered whatsoever, especially ours. But again, we're focused on Tennessee, and again, we feel great about where we are and where we're going.
Big one this weekend.
Yeah.
Game day,
Yep.
primetime ABC. How do you help your guys handle everything that is surrounding this football game?
I think the most important thing is just stand in the moment. You look at this game, obviously, with Coach Hype coming back in Tennessee, your first SEC opponent, but I go, you're going to have about 4 or 5 more of these. So,
Right.
at the end of the day, when they blow that whistle, it's just football. So, again, don't make it bigger than what it is. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of excitement from fans and family members and friends and things of that nature. But, I think the most important thing is, hey, stay in the moment, relax, and go do your job. We don't have to come out and play this great, amazing game, and make mistake-free plays. But I think for us, just go do what we've been doing. Again, just clean up the details, clean up the little things that we have been working on the last 3 weeks, and go out there and play your tail off, and again, play for the guy next year.
It just made me think of that scene in Major League where it's like, calm down, Rook, we got 161 more of these to go. This is exciting, but we're going to Auburn next week, then there's Texas, and there's still Alabama. It's a new mindset in this conference. But I'm curious your thoughts on what you've seen from that Tennessee defense. Haven't allowed a touchdown yet this year, and really seems like they're an experienced group.
Yeah, really good group. Coached very well. Obviously, they hadn't gave up a rushing touchdown or passing touchdown all season. I think they're averaging about 1.8 yards per carry and just under 55 yards total rushing. But you'll see up front, again, these guys are playing a lot of guys. They want to keep guys fresh. Probably the best linebacking core we've faced so far. Again, those guys are extremely athletic, run very well sideline to sideline. But again, we feel good with where we are up front and our backs and our skill guys being able to get some one-on-one coverage and things of that nature, and obviously running the ball. So very, very good defense. We'll have our hands full, but again, we're excited. We know the challenge, we respect them, but we also have a lot of confidence in ourselves and where we're going.
And it's kind of cool. I know he's on the opposite sideline, but Josh Heupel running the show. It's Joey Halzle is over there too. It's got a little bit of a Sooner feel to it on that Tennessee sideline, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of love for those guys, a lot of respect and admiration for obviously Coach Hype. He was here with me, and again, just unbelievable person. Love him to death. Obviously, and then Joey. Joey and I were texting here, early in the week, and my quarterback spends a lot of time together on the weekends and in Veer Drill. But again, just 2 great guys that obviously you're happy to see them do well. Great friends. Obviously, Sooners. But come Saturday, we'll say our highs and everything after the game. But again, wish them nothing but the best, after this game, of course. But again, just love both of them.
Love them. Want them to get destroyed on Saturday, but love them.
Thanks, DeMarco.
Definitely.
Appreciate your
Thank
time,
you.
man.
Appreciate it.
DeMarco Murray. We'll talk Sooner defense with Zach Alley coming up next. You're inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. Stick around.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
First time on Coach's Corner with the Sooner co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, Zach Alley. Welcome in, Coach. Thanks for hanging with us.
Happy to be here.
And we're pumped. We've had a chance to talk to you post-game, 3 straight games. So obviously this defense has been off to a solid start. How you feeling about the way things have progressed so far?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do still. I think that we're doing well, but we're not where we want to be yet. And I think that's kind of the constant stride to try and be the best we can be. And obviously a huge challenge this week, and we're excited to get after it.
We'll talk about Tennessee here in a little bit, but looking back at the Tulane game, overall, how did you feel about the defensive performance?
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well in that game. We had a couple moments where I wish we'd executed just a little bit better overall, but I thought that, as a whole, we did a really good job of just taking away the things they really wanted to do and, force them into hard situations early, especially.
We haven't had an opportunity to have you on the show. Like I said, Gabe and I have talked to you post-game. But it's got to be so cool for you to work with Coach Venables, right? As the story goes, whenever he came in 2011, were you a sophomore in college?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a sophomore in college. I'll do whatever, Coach. Move chairs around, and you guys sitting and watching just film for hours upon hours. Now how wild is it to be really, truly his first coordinator of his defense? It's got to be a great feeling.
It's fun. Obviously being back with Coach V is just a dream come true kind of mentality for me, and every day just learning from him and growing. It's just been awesome, and happy to be back with him. And, just a really special moment for sure.
Danny Stutsman. You see the highlights right there. He has been, I feel like he's been everything we were hoping he would be so far this season. What type of progression have you seen from Stutsman since you arrived?
Yeah, I think, just the leadership and the just production. I think Danny makes plays a lot of times within the scheme, and he'll make plays that, maybe he shouldn't make per se, when things break down and we got 2-3 techniques. We're supposed to have a zero nose guard, and he makes a guy miss and, makes the tackle. And so that's just something, man, just instinctual about him. It's hard to teach that. He's just got a great feel.
What's it like, because you're handling the inside linebackers every single day, in the meeting room, out there on the practice field. What's it like having a guy that's played that much and is producing the way that he is right now? What's it like having a guy kind of leading that room?
Yeah, I think it's just a really big benefit to all the younger guys in there, and we're a deep room, and he really brings the juice every day. The accountability, the desire to be great. I think that's some of the things that make him special, and just having that veteran leadership in that room is something that helps everybody around him be better.
How have you learned more about, like I almost said his minutes, his snaps, because I think one of the coolest stories from Saturday was in a major moment. You look at there's Colby McKenzie and there's Kip Lewis, like 10 and 11. And, Danny wants to be out there every single play, but the confidence you have in those young guys, and then the willingness of him to say, all right, whatever you say, Coach Alley, I trust you. That's pretty cool to have developed that already with him, right?
Absolutely. I think that obviously Danny wants to go all the time whenever he can go. He'd play every snap of every game if he could. And, just had a moment there where I felt like that was the right way to go, and put those guys out there, give them an opportunity as much as, I trust them. To me, we got a lot of really good players in that room, and, just Danny had been, I think, the last series maybe was 8-9 plays in a row, and we got him off the field, but we went back pretty fast, and so I felt like if I could give him a blow right there, he could finish the game out for us. So just a good trust factor between me and him, to believe in what we're doing and seeing it work to fruition on the field.
This is something that Teddy Lehman's talked about quite a bit on our radio broadcasts in these first couple games, is Stutsman's ability to just bounce between the Mike position and the Will position in your defense. How difficult is that, in your opinion? I know he's an extremely veteran player, smart guy, but how difficult is it for him to just go back and forth the way that he's doing, because he makes it look easy?
Yeah, I think that obviously teaching them all in the same room really helps. He hears what, the Will gets taught on the play, what the Mike gets taught on the play, and he's such a cerebral guy. He can kind of, he knows what he's trying to do, on every play within the scheme. I talk about like guys who understand why we do things. He understands why, and so for him, it's easy to bounce back and forth because he knows where he's got to be.
And he's funny. He's got a great personality too, right? That kind of helps in that room in tough moments, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Every now and then they'll come in and they've bought a new jersey offline, and it's Coach Valai's jersey from back when he was there, or Coach Bates or somebody like that, or I think they came in and the day they went to the Renaissance Fair, they came to the meeting with their swords and their cloaks and all that. So, has a great sense of humor, and obviously, he knows because of kind of the person he is, how hard he works and all that, that he can get away with a little bit more maybe than other guys.
I love it. You mentioned Kip Lewis is one of those guys that you trust quite a bit. He really seemed to emerge onto the scene last year after battling some injuries the year before. Where have you seen his growth and development as you've taken over this year? What's excited you about Kip?
The first thing, I think he put on like 20 pounds, from last season to this season. And so he's got a little bit more punch, a little bit more forcefulness into him. And, just the vocal leadership on the field, man. He's been phenomenal as far as just communicating and getting out there. And then, when he'll go through stretches where, man, he'll make every play for 3 plays, 4 plays. And so that's impressive to see and good to know as well, man. It just creates trust. And you've just seen him grow and develop into a great player.
I'm not going to say this to really disparage anyone else on the defense, but when I watch the tape after the game, Kip is always, he looks like he's playing harder than everyone else. He's just constantly flying to the football, no matter the situation. What kind of standard does that set, not only in your inside linebacker room, but kind of among the entire defense?
Yeah, I think that it's something we preach, and guys that Kip has a motor that never stops. He's full speed all the time, and he's like that every day at practice. He looks gassed, because he's given everything he's got, by the end, and then that translates to the game. Because what you do in practice will ultimately be how you play, and so he's a guy that's just all out all the time, and he leaves it all on the field.
And then let's go ahead and put the cap on the entire inside backer room. Kobe McKenzie got his first start on Saturday. Dude's a thumper. How have you seen him progress since you stepped on campus?
Yeah, I think he stepped into a leadership role and has really taken advantage of that. Behind Danny, really just leading those guys, getting around the young guys and getting them ready to play. And then, I trust him completely, man. He's a physical dude, and he's going to get guys lined up. He communicates really, really well, and, he can be a guy in the clutch, man, that makes plays.
How do you think, playing all the guys the way that you have, how do you think that affects their preparation? Like, they know they're going in the game. How do you think that affects them throughout the week?
Yeah, I think that the challenge of, hey, man, we've got a lot of starters in the room, that every week you're fighting to be the guy that goes out there first. You're fighting to be the guy that gets more reps. And I think that mentality of competitiveness just brings out the best in everybody.
All right, Zach Alley is inside the coach's corner. When we come back, how can we go this long talking defense and not bring up R. Mason Thomas this week? We'll do that and preview Tennessee as we head down the home stretch and get ready for Saturday night in the Coach's Corner presented by Riverwind. Stick around.
OU's 2024 football games are available on Exodus 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. New episodes drop every day. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Zach Alley is with us inside the Coach's Corner, Sooner co-defensive coordinator, inside backers coach. And real quick, before we talk about a couple of other standouts on your defense, new technology this year with the iPads on the sideline, the helmet technology. You'd coordinated defenses at ULM and at Jacksonville State before you got here. So what's the difference it's made for you? How do you like it or not like it?
I like it. I think the players like it as well. We get to the sideline and, it's instant feedback for what they're doing on the field from that previous series or all the way back. And so instead, it kind of takes the guesswork out of, hey, where did this ball hit, or how do we have a misfit here, a miscommunication? you can fix a lot of problems because you can see everything just like you're watching the coach's copy. So I think it's been a game changer as far as just corrections on the sideline, and I think the players like it as well.
So we talked to Seth Luttrell about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
And he brought up an interesting point was it allowed him to know whether or not it was a good call or a bad call. Like if there was an error somewhere. Have you had any of those types of moments where you looked at it and you went, you know what? I called a good play there, and we just messed it up.
There are times, I'd say I'm more on the negative side a lot of times, like, man, that was dumb. Why'd I call that? Than I am the positive side. But it's definitely good to be able to see how whatever we called affected them or what they gave us in response to that. And so we use that a lot of different ways just from a future call standpoint. But, yeah, I'm definitely one that's like, that was dumb. Maybe we should go to something else.
I get the sense that Brent Venables kind of looks at the iPad and it's like, we don't need iPads. I don't need an iPad. He kind of has this old school, I trust my eyes. I don't need to see. Yeah. I watched it. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of is that the feeling you get?
I think so. Coach V, obviously, Coach V's always up. If the offense is up, he's up. If the defense is up, he's up. So he's not over there looking at the iPads nearly as much as we do. But I'll get on. He'll come over the headset and make sure you show him that. Yeah. Yep. I'll make sure I get to
coach.
it.
Yep. Got it.
So.
But it's another thing that you've brought because you've allowed. I think Coach Venables. It feels like he's able to be more of a head coach, right?
No doubt.
More in the offense, and there were times last year he'd be over in the defensive huddle, and that's not happening as much. That's we were talking about how cool it is to work next to him. You guys standing next to each other over there. I love watching it from the other sidelines. But I mean, it's got to be a pretty cool feeling, that amount of trust that he has in you guys right now as a staff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Coach V brought me here for a reason, and excited to be able to build that trust, and hopefully I've earned some of it through the first couple games and every day at practice, and so I think that hopefully it's a little bit of a stress relief for him, and obviously we're trying to do the best job we can all the time, and hopefully it shows up on game day.
R. Mason Thomas, fantastic performance against Tulane. We'd been hearing for years about his natural ability to rush the passer, finally healthy. Finally got some of those opportunities. How excited were you to see R. Mason have that type of performance?
Man, I think it was a long time coming. I mean, you saw it at the end. I mean, I think like 4 plays in a row, just absolute domination. Couldn't block him, knocked the ball down, got another strip sack to end the game. And, I think that in critical moments, man, your best player's got to make plays. And to me, that's what it was. We had some critical, got to win on one-on-one, got to get off the ball, get us off the field, and he was able to do that, and just really impressive. And we've been building to this, and he finally showed out.
On the other side, you got a veteran in Ethan Downs, who is, feel like he's improved every single year he's got here. What's kind of stood out about Ethan, leader on this team now?
Absolutely, the consistency of performance. Ethan's a guy that, man, he's going to do his job, and he's going to do it every play. He's going to be excellent in everything that he does, how he approaches his day-to-day. Just an amazing leader. And, he's a guy that you come back in at night after dinner, and it's like 9:30, and I'm coming back in to grab a snack, and he's got the defensive ends up there with chairs out, and they're walking through the play calls. He's working the younger guys and making sure they know exactly what to do. And, he has a very, very small ego about him. He's a very humble guy, and he wants to make the best out of everybody, in that room, and you see that constantly from him.
Saw the secondary get tested a little more than they had up to the Tulane game. Tulane's got some speed at wide receiver. Certainly, Tennessee's got some guys that can go as well. What has your evaluation been of how the secondary has played up to this point in the season?
Yeah, I think we played well. There's obviously a lot of need for improvement. That's how I always see it. Just maintaining our leverage, little things that give up a completion here or completion there that we'd prefer not to give up anything all the time. But just having a lot of guys back there that played a lot of ball. Between Billy and Peyton and RJ, and Des was a starter for 3+ years, and Kenai stepped into that role. I mean, they've been phenomenal, and I feel like we've got some depth and experience back there to help us. And obviously getting Woody back fully healthy and ready to go, that only extenuates the depth and the ability to play guys in different spots.
We had our first injury report that was dropped on Wednesday night, and Gentry Williams was listed as out. Gabe can attest to this. If there was a time over the last 5 years, 6 years, where the perceived starting quarter was out, there'd be panic in the Sooner Nation, right? Gentry Williams is out, but Des Malone and Kenai Walker, as you mentioned, Woody have stepped up. How, I don't know, it's refreshing for us it is, but the depth that you have at that corner position right now, how has that allowed you guys to be a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, I think, Coach Bly's done a great job of getting a lot of players in here that are good enough to play at this level and then developing them into guys we trust to put in the game. We ask a lot of some of our younger guys as well, but we get a lot of trust in them, to be able to execute and do the things they need to do. And, I always think that the best is yet to come, and we've got a lot of guys that are just continuing to rise, as we go throughout the season.
Got a big challenge coming to town on Saturday night. What's the sense you get from your guys about how excited they are for this opportunity? Because that's exactly what it is for your defense. It's an opportunity to prove that they're one of the best defenses in the country.
Absolutely. I think that there's obviously excitement. It's going to be a really fun and enjoyable time out there, and it's going to be hard. They're going to make some plays. We're going to make some plays as well. No games without adversity at some point, throughout the game. And so just how we respond and what we do, I think, will define how the game goes, because something will happen, and then, man, we've been pretty clutch in critical moments so far, and we got to continue to maintain that, and hopefully we can get some more turnovers.
I do think you look at Tennessee's offense, and they want to run the football. Of course, they want to take their deep shots down the field, but veteran offensive line, really dynamic running back in Dylan Sampson. Like, how important is it for you guys to do your absolute best to make Tennessee as one-dimensional as possible?
Yeah, I think that we've got to do a great job of stopping the run all game. I've emphasized that all week with our guys. The linebackers, the D-line, and man, if you knock them out up front, you stop the run game, we got a really, really good chance of winning this game. But that's critical because everybody sees the big play explosives and things they do, throwing the ball, which is obviously one of the best in the country. But they're a run-first team, and if you don't stop the run, they'll just keep running it right at you. So that's definitely a big point of emphasis for us. How can the crowd affect this game for you guys? I think they're critical. You watch the Tennessee on the road when they're at an Alabama, a Georgia, somewhere that like on an away game that is loud. I think they had 7 or 8 false starts in one of those games. Just forcing them out of their rhythm, and now they get behind schedule. So I would say, this is a critical game for our crowd, the noise throughout the whole game. The louder we are when they're on offense, the harder it is for them to communicate. And, with all the tempo and going fast, there's a lot of communication happening on their side. So the more we can limit that with the crowd noise, the better chance we have of winning this game.
Man, it's been a blast having you around, man. It's been fun talking to you in post game. It's just 2 former centers here talking it out. You knew that, right? High school center.
Hey. Yes.
Given the responsibility to even call the fronts, right? Whenever you were in high school.
Tried to point them out.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, congrats on the great start so far. We're so excited for Saturday night and so pumped you're here, man.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
That's Zach Alley. We'll wrap up the Coach's Corner presented by Riverwind Casino next. Stick around.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
I'm good with any question about Oklahoma. Like the opportunity that I got, from Bob and from Mike to come there and play, what we were able to build there in a short amount of time as a player. But then my coaching career, from, the guys that I played for to all of the coaches that were there during my career, all made a huge impact on me. And I wouldn't be here today at Tennessee if I didn't have all of those experiences. So tremendously grateful for all those people. And Brent is somebody that, I learned and grew from as a young coach so much, and a ton of respect for him.
Boy, it really seems, does it not, Gabe, like Josh Heupel's in a really good place, and not just his time at Oklahoma, but also with what he has at Tennessee right now. It's what'd you say your old high school coach used to say? They're a lot better than I want them to be, right?
Well, this saying does not apply to Tennessee. That's usually a team that I don't think is very good.
Oh, okay, I got
Yeah, that was his thing. Every team was better than they wanted him to be when it came to Kenny Young's world. But
Josh seems really happy right now.
I hated when that all went down. You know, as a guy that played for Heupel, he was my offensive coordinator my last couple years. And frankly, he was one of my heroes growing up.
Yeah, he won a national championship.
And, you know, we all thought that there was going to be this natural progression of what it would look like after Bob Stoops.
Right.
And it just didn't work out that way. But I think ultimately the way that went down and kind of the journey it sent him on is one of the best things that ever happened to him.
Yep.
And I think that we all, or at least I know I feel this way, there's still this awkwardness around the situation. And my hope is that this weekend starts whatever healing process needs to take place, whatever mending needs to take place, that this weekend starts that, because I think we all love Josh Heupel. He's a Sooner legend. He brought, clearly Bob Stoops and his staff were a massive part of it, but you ask all the guys on those teams in 99 and 2000, and he was the main catalyst of bringing this thing back, man. And we'll get there. We'll get there in time. But, yeah, I'm thrilled to see him succeeding the way that he's succeeding.
And they're going to bring in a very good team on Saturday night.
Yeah, and I hope they get
Tennessee. But with that in mind, final segment brought to you by Riverwind Casino. And
what did I say?
You just want to win. Bob Moore Ford Scouting Report. Yeah, there are the numbers. Don't get caught up in the numbers because it is concerning. But Kent State's one of the lowest ranked teams in college football.
They're a terrible football team.
North Carolina State had some success. They dropped 8 against him the whole time. That's according to Teddy Lehman on the Oklahoma Breakdown. You should listen to it.
I would not advise going with NC State's defensive strategy. It was a mess.
And they've had their way with Chattanooga. But Eichert's Intel, as it's brought to you by Orthodontics exclusively. Gabe, what do you need to see from the Sooners on Saturday night to have success?
You got to win the line of scrimmage. Both sides of the football. And that's, don't get caught up in all the RPO stuff and taking the deep shots down the field with Nico Iamaleava. Josh Heupel wants to run the rock. And OU's defensive line, you got to win at the point of attack. Tennessee's go-to play is counter. They run it in a variety of ways. They run it in a variety of personnel groupings, and it's really effective. It's not overly complicated, though. You're getting double teams, you're getting down blocks, you're getting pullers. OU's defensive line and linebackers, they have to be more violent than Tennessee's guys. They have to win that battle, and you have to get Dylan Sampson on the ground. You have to make Tennessee as one-dimensional as possible. They're going to have some big chunk runs. They're really good. But you just can't let them stay on schedule all game long. You have to get Nico in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. And then OU's offensive line has to play well. We'll see who's back for the Sooners. Tennessee's defensive line is very talented and very deep. That's the key. You have to win at the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball.
One of the best defensive lines we've seen since what, like 2018 Alabama?
The best.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive.
Texas last year was really good. I think this group's for Tennessee's a little deeper.
Big challenge for Bill Beanbo and his offensive line. I know Sooner Nation will be up to it. We'll see you at a raucous Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium on Saturday night. For Gabe Eichert, I'm Chris Blank. This has been the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. Until next time, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
This has been the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.